Afternoon, everybody. My name's Stephen Howson. This is Casey. This is Stretford, Paddock. And we're going to be talking about the press conference that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has just had. Casey, what did he have to say?
I'd say a lot, actually. It was quite an open press conference from Solskjaer, surprisingly, because the last couple of weeks he's been a bit more, we just need to get the job done. This is the team. We're going to move on. And then this
he came out and he went, everybody 21, it's coming.
It was like, I've got this video. He got a video of Adam McCullough up on his phone and was like, this is the mentality we have. No. It was kind of just a general, like, it was a bit about Wolves. It was a bit about his rotation. It was a bit about what he wants to do going forward. It was a bit about the opposition. It kind of was a bit of a mixed one. He was very open, very happy, very getting in there.
Let's get some of the quotes up
some of the quotes
and have a look. So here's the first one. He says, we have competition for places, which means that you cannot go around and fake your way through being part of this team. You don't deserve to be in if you contribute. Everyone has realised we are privileged to be a part of Manchester United. Enjoy it. Do you think there's any players in particular that's a dig at or not a dig at or aimed at or referencing? Or you think he's just talking generally and don't really need attaching to anyone?
I don't think you can say it's attached to anyone recently because everyone's kind of stepped up. I feel like earlier on in the season, maybe the first couple of games when everyone was saying, oh, it's the fitness, that might be where he was trying to say, oh, people are like making a couple of excuses and saying, oh, I can't play because I've got a little like ankle injury or my ankle's sore or something like that. But maybe now he's trying to say, right, if you go and say, oh, I did my best, but you really didn't, and you were just maybe making a couple of passes and saying, oh, yeah, that's my best, then he's going to say, no, right, drop back. I mean, I think that means what he's trying to say there is that applies to anyone.
What does this mean to Danny van der Beek, though? You can be a part, if you deserve to, you'll contribute. He's barely featured.
He's in such a hard position, though, to say, because, like...
But he's in one of the most rotated positions, and he don't get a sniff.
Well, I feel like what we look at Danny van der Beek is if you say, what is his main position? And I think what his main position under Solskjaer, when they signed, they said a lot that he was going to be, is a number 10. And that's the least rotated position on the pitch, bar the left wing.
I don't think he's going to be a number 10.
But that's the thing, like maybe...
I think he can play both of those roles, and all three of those roles. He can play in any of them three positions in midfield, but and doesn't get a look in.
But then when you take it into it, I feel like you will look at that, it's like, if he's a number 10, he's in the least rotated position on the pitch. Him and Fernandes and Rashford don't come off that pitch hardly in a match, let alone like for a whole game.
Southampton away, he played a double pivot with Matic. He was fantastic playing out of the press. He was fantastic at holding positional discipline, and hasn't really been seen since.
But then could that be a sense of that Matic hasn't played as much? And I don't think that Van der Beek...
But Matic has played.
Yeah, exactly. But I feel like Van der Beek next to Pogba probably wouldn't work. And then obviously we've seen Fred really only is the best that Fred can be next to McTominay. So it kind of is like, is it just a case of that time and opportunity hasn't come for him? Because maybe you'll see later on if we try and do more diamond play, that's an interesting way of phrasing it. He might play a bit more. You might see him drop in later on. I feel like if Paul Pogba, like Fabrizio Romano said, is definitely leaving next summer, maybe we're just saying we're doing what everyone seems to be having a go at us, but maybe we're doing what Liverpool did with Naby Keita, where they were like, he's going to play occasionally, but mainly we're just getting him up to speed with how we like to play. And then when one of our players drops out, he's now there and he's starting every other game or every 3 games.
What was the next quote we got? Sometimes it's horses for courses, but you do plan ahead. The players will have to be angry with me until the next time they play. Believe you me. They are not happy with me when I tell them they are starting on the bench.
He's probably got an English dialect book out there. It's like, what are some phrases I can throw in here?
He's been here for a long time.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. But these are like more, it's a bit more, it's a lot less, more casual. It's a lot less formal where he's like, oh, I have to answer these questions and this is what it is. Like, oh, throw in some idioms or throw in some whatever. We'll go with that. But yeah, I feel like that's what the mentality you want. You want someone who's there like, all right, I don't deserve to be sitting on this bench. And if you're like, it's like, okay, go show me you're better than him. And you've probably seen that more with one of your favourite players, of Luke Shaw with Alex Telles. Luke Shaw seems to have stepped up. Arguably, Steve, let me play devil advocate. Has Luke Shaw seemed to step up his game in terms of the fact he's learned how to cross and take a corner?
It's not my issue with Luke Shaw.
Yeah, but I mean, as in that sort of game you didn't see from Luke Shaw in years. Has that come back since Telles has joined?
Luke Shaw's like your crackhead mate on social media. You see him and his missus going at each other all the time. And then he's like, right, I'm gone, getting a new bird and this, that, and the other. Back together 5 minutes later. Never trust him. Luke Shaw's, how many second chances has this guy had? You see now he's gone away to get fit for pre-season. He's put about 3 stone on since then. If you look at, he constantly needs the threat of being dropped, the promise of a new contract, the kick up the arse of Brandon Williams coming through, the kick up the arse of Telles coming through. Why not just be a consistent player? You've been here 6 years now, going on 7 years.
One of our longest serving players still left in the team.
And not established still, right? The other night I had a lot of people talking about what Luke Shaw did, and I thought on the ball he was all right. Nothing special, but not bad. That isn't the issue with Luke Shaw. People got to remember that you're without the ball for 95% of the time you're on a football pitch. So what you do on the ball can generally lead a performance, but realistically, a performance is what you do off the ball. That's why Michael Carrick was elite. This is why some of the best players in the world are the best players in the world, because their movement makes other people's stuff. Carrick is a great example because Carrick off the ball looked like he wasn't doing much, but he was blocking lanes off, he was marking the right people, he was stopping the opposition playing by his constant movement. Luke Shaw off the ball, his movement looks like he's never played a game of football. And I can't, like, people go, oh, he's exaggerating. I'm not exaggerating. Go and watch the second half of United the other day. And I want you to just watch Luke Shaw and especially watch him when we don't have the ball. Now, even on the ball, I have an issue with, like, do you see the compilation someone made the other day? A compilation of proper bang average ordinary passing. And one of my issues with Luke Shaw is that people talk about Pogba slowing it down. Luke Shaw slows it down. He stops. And he'll pass to some, and because he stops, everyone else goes like, "Fucking hell, what are you doing, mate?"
Is it like the classic Antonio Valencia post leg break right back performance where you were like, "Go on, go past him, go past,"
and then the 45-degree inside ball.
Yeah,
it's similar, but Luke Shaw will put them. He'll put him in different directions. Valencia was just a 45-degree inside ball. He'll put him in different directions, but it's too often he stops. When he stops, the movement around him doesn't accelerate like it does when Pogba stops or when Bruno stops or when Marcus stops, because you can see, everyone will run around a little bit and make some space. When Luke Shaw stops, everyone's just like, fucking get rid of it, move it on. And someone was showing me something the other day. He's one of the most progressive passers because he's passing it to a winger. And we're left side heavy.
A winger in Rashford who doesn't traditionally get back. So he's always going to be passing it forward if he's passing it down line.
So he gets yardage on his thing as well. But you've got to watch him off the ball. And then for people that have been digging Harry Maguire out, watch Harry Maguire shit himself when he realises where Luke Shaw's gone. Luke Shaw's like a toddler in a supermarket, right? And he's gone, fuck, let me get after him. There was from about the 60th to the 70th-ish minute, just there's a period of time there where Wolves are a little bit on the top. Now, people will go, well, he made a couple of tackles, and that's all you're supposed to do. No, you stop attacks by your positioning. You stop you being in the right position, meaning Harry Maguire's not got to flap and run out of position, because that's what happens sometimes is Luke Shaw's out of position, so he's not the one dribbled past. Harry Maguire's gone to cover the 30-metre gap in between him and Luke Shaw because Luke Shaw's fucking away with the fairies. And then there's a gap opens up in between the two centre-halves, and that's where they go through. I know people go, what's that got to do with Luke Shaw? That started because of Luke Shaw breaking the chain of the integrity of the defence. Like, I don't have a massive, massive problem with Luke Shaw. I think he's the weakest spot in our team. But it's the same thing that happened with Ashley Young. Is I'd go, Ashley Young was pretty shit. People go, I thought he was amazing. And then I have to go, are you fucking drunk? Mm-hmm. He wasn't amazing, and here's why. And it looks like I'm just doubling down on him. Oh, people go, you hate him. I don't hate him. I want everyone in a United shirt to do well. But don't piss in my mouth and tell me it's champagne. It's fucking piss. And his performance was piss the other night.
I feel there was a couple of opportunities that he did well with the press. I feel like that's what made... and when we scored the goal, he sort of like was getting forward and getting them, try and push them back. But the thing is I think that might be what Solskjaer means when he says you can't fake thing. I think Solskjaer said very early on, and he said it throughout the entirety of his time at United, he wants a team that presses high, off the ball, has energy, wins it back, that sort of thing. And there are a couple of players that when you see them play, they don't do that. Basically, I feel like if he confronts him in training, I assume he confronts him in training because he seems like that sort of manager that like, yeah, they did fine, and then like goes behind the
pins
door
him up to the wall,
smacks him for it. But like they'll be like, oh yeah, but I did that 40-yard pass to make that chance that didn't go in, and they'll be like, well, yeah, but then didn't you just not press this guy who went and scored? That's what I want to actually look at. That's a thing that mattered in this game, and that's a problem. So I feel like that's what he's trying to say. I know
when Uncle Pat went to Bill Camera, that guy there. I know when he was doing his coaching badges at Old Trafford or at Carrington, he gripped Luke Shaw and gripped Luke Shaw. And that tells me everything I need to know. And there's other coaches that have said some stuff about Luke Shaw as well from behind the scenes. And you just go, I'm not having him. And my eyes tell me I'm not having him as well.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't think Tellers is perfect defensively. But he offers you so much going forward that it's a risk I'm willing to take. It's the same with Wan-Bissaka. Do I think he's good enough going forward? No, I don't.
No.
But he more than makes up for that with his tackling. And actually, his positioning on crosses that are coming from the opposite side is a bit fucking wayward. But his positioning is generally all right. He's generally usually in the right kind of spot.
But I feel like the thing is the way that football has gone recently is if you have one defensive right back and one attacking left back, then it kind of rebalances itself to a three at the back when you're going forward. That would be fine for United on the right hand side if we had a right hand side, which is why Wan-Bissaka's forward play looks so bad because he's asked to make more crosses than he has to. So
is that why we've been linked with?
That's what. Max Aarons, because he's been going forward and he needs to learn defensive. We move on to the next quote. It's more on this sort of mentality, and that's what we've been going for recently. Solskjaer said there's been a real change in the mentality. One, the players are 2 years older than when they came, and two, some of them are really strong personalities that we've brought in have really been a good influence.
That means Bruno.
Yeah, that means Bruno, and I think Cavani as well. I think Cavani as of recently, because Cavani, I think, is that player who he has. On the pitch, he has that Rooney sort of mentality, and I feel like off the pitch, he's kind of a bit more in your ear and loud.
You see him not really celebrate when we scored the other day?
I feel like he was like, I wanted to score that.
Yeah, because as he comes over, and what's really interesting is if you watch Tony Marshall's movement, because he's right next to Cavani, and Cavani's like a fucking bee in a bottle. He's like all over the place trying to find space, and Marshall kind of just drifts towards the goalkeeper a little bit. But when immediately Marcus takes the shot, Cavani's well ready to rip him a new arsehole. Then it goes in, he goes, yes. But you can tell he's kind of like...
I feel like the thing with Cavani is, and I feel like he's getting into it a bit more recently, and I think like Rashford and Martial, you see him actually trying to make more passes into the box because of it, and I think that's because he's been at them in training. It's because Martial and Rashford on the wings is probably the worst sort of wing pairing to have a striker like Cavani, because he's always like, I'm making a run into the box.
Well, this is the reason Ruud van Nistelrooy and Ronaldo didn't vibe.
Yeah, exactly.
Because Ronaldo comes in to shoot, whereas Ruud van Nistelrooy is the most selfish, and people take this negatively, but it's not for a centre forward. Ruud van Nistelrooy is the most selfish footballer the world's ever seen. He's like,
give me this ball and I will put it in
I want the ball now. Yeah. I want the ball now. Yeah. It's a goal kick. I want the ball now. It's a throw in. I want the ball now.
I feel like he can kind of abide by Rashford a bit more, because Rashford's like, obviously like Rashford scores goals, but then Martial recently, I feel like he's been like...
8 assists as well, Martial.
Yeah. Pardon?
Is it 8 assists? Is it 14 goals, 8 assists?
It might be. That's correct. But like, I feel like Martial more recently, because he hasn't been scoring and because he's been trying to like go past people, he's probably been in his ear in training like, look, man, just try and get in the box, please. Or give it to Tellez and just try and get in the box. I'm running and I'm running and I'm running again. Just please, just like keep going. And like, you see those mentality. And Fernandes was, again, we're going to go back to that, where they saw a lot of people commenting on the Dan James from the Leeds match, where he scored the goal. Fernandes celebrated, and then literally went round and put his arm on his shoulder and started talking about him, what he should be doing in that match, because he was like, right, we need to get another, or we need to do something else. You've not been playing fully well. You've got your goal. Congratulations.
Bruno's debut. Was it Wolves' debut?
It might have been.
Was Wolves' debut. In his debut, he was directing traffic. That's some serious self-belief to come to Manchester United. And remember, I think this is easier now to come in and direct traffic at Old Trafford when there's no fans there. 75,000 people on your debut. Not many stadiums are even that big. So a lot of people, you usually see their debut as a bit of a write-off. They're in awe. He's on a date and he's like, no, you, here, give me that fucking ball. Stop you. No, give me that. Get over there, make a run. The stone's on the guy to do that. Now, after the year he's had, the confidence that he had then is going to have multiplied to whatever level it is now. I can't imagine how secure he feels in going, no, this is the crack. You don't do that, you do this. You give me the ball, this. We're doing this. And you get more top personalities in there who are actually top players, Cavani, your Bruno, etc. It's never a bad thing.
I think like there are a couple more because obviously we're saying Cavani, Bruno. I think Maguire is a big personality. Some people say about his communication, but I feel like sometimes when it's Maguire, like, and then like, why is he not shouted at someone? I feel like it's just like he just can't be bothered. Like, not can't be bothered, but sometimes he's just like, how do I actually stop them doing that? When like Wan-Bissaka doesn't jump up for a cross that goes to the back post, what has happened to him 5 or 6 times, and he's not done it every time. Or Lindelof like runs for something and he just can't cover it. He's like there, just like, how do I stop this? Like, what do I say to him to stop him from running? And it's like, but then you also see chances where he's at corners and you can just see him barking at people just to get in the box. And then you see Fernandes barking at someone. I'd be scared. I'd be scared one of them's going to hit me at some point because they all just look like them, like really angry.
We've got a couple of super chats here from Slim Trade. He said, first super chat, so be grateful, great grandfather Howson. It's not a good start, is it?
Let's talk about people hitting people.
Shaw is sound defensive left back. And Wan-Bissaka is a terrific defensive right back. To be continued, I'm broke. And then he's put, and then another super chat, where Tellers is a decent attacking right back. I think he means left back. We need an option at right back. That's also with the only squad without a natural attacking right wing, Ole in. I actually think you'd probably get more out of Wan-Bissaka if he had a regular top class right winger in front of him. Like Gary Neville was not Trent in the final third, but because he had David Beckham ahead of him and he'd go make an overlapping run, defenders would go, I'm not fucking chasing him, I'm staying with Beckham. And then Beckham would play him in, and he's in acres now and can deliver a good ball. You might get more of that if Wan-Bissaka wasn't double marked because the right winger in front of him is pissed off to play.
One of the things that Wan-Bissaka does really well, and people don't really notice it because they say, "Oh, he has gangly legs and he can't dribble." Well, he can dribble. Like he has. I'm pretty sure at one point he had some of the best take.
He had some good passes.
He had really some
Wolves.
good take on
right.
If you've got a right winger, they'd be like, "Oh, we can press him because he's not good with the ball at his feet. Go around and pass it on, and then you've got a clean run through the right winger." And it's fantastic to see that United now, when you look at it, you can say our weakest position, our left back, and someone can say, hey, oh, we don't have a natural right winger. But the rest of the team is like, it's pretty strong. And that's the thing, that strong squad is what Solskjaer's been talking about. So the next quote on the strongest squad is, well, yeah, we have a really strong squad. We've rotated a lot. We've not really got a settled 11. That's a bit more of a touch. Don't think this is going to be about that anyway. It's going about the 25, 26 players. I think towards the end of the season, that will help us.
I'm glad he's aware of that because come the end of the season, we are going to need to have rotated. I think we're not ready for the implications of the truncated pre-season and the way last season ended. I've been rereading Fergie's autobiography and he talks about when players go to an international tournament, he wanted to give them all 28 days off. And he talks about how Michael Owen, after he made his debut for England, somewhat or other, they won some cup in 2001, instead of him being given whatever off, he made his Liverpool debut 7 days later, and all the United players in that team got 4 weeks off. And obviously, Owen went on a decent career, he said, but he thinks he could have worked on some of his technical aspects and got him, up to speed. And they think some of the injuries that he had was because he wasn't physically prepared enough to be coming into the Premier League. And he might be right, he might be wrong, but I like the idea of that. And going forward, looking at how this season's gone, how last season's gone, the fact that Euros is going to be smushed into it. We're supposedly at the halfway point of the season, but we're not. We're only 15 games in. We've still got 25 games left to play this season. Plus, in the league.
Got Carabao Cup, FA Cup going to come
and
in.
Europa.
And Europa.
So you've got so much long left of the season. You might also have some kind of extra national lockdown. You've also got a Euros at the end of it. And they're not stopped fucking international breaks either.
Euros,
it absolutely takes the piss. So the squad thing's massive, and I would like to see us invest in this. And I wouldn't mind seeing us go 4 or 5% over what we actually need as well, because it's going to come down to who's the fittest in this. And I think the reason we saw United get spanked by Spurs and Liverpool got spanked by Villa, I think a little bit of that was down to preparation.
I mean, yeah, you look to that Spurs team and you see the two linchpins of that Spurs team work very well. Son has been on it and his fitness has been there and he's been a massive linchpin. But you're looking at the teams now and like I said there that I kind of smirked him saying there's not a settled 11. I think there is. I feel like there's 3 or 4 settled 11 is kind of a mixed bag thing because not many people have a team that they run constantly the same 11 every week. Occasionally there's like, we need to substitute in a centre back or we need to substitute in a centre mid because they're tired. And I feel like that's the way United's getting at the moment. I think the midfield 2 is kind of a change up because of just the opposition we're playing. But I feel like McTominay and Fred are kind of his main. These are what I'll fall back on because I know they can do a job. Fernandes is there, Rashford's there. Cavani, I think he's going to come into it more because he's just so good on the pitch. Like he makes so much space and he'll get goals. And our back four minus the left back and maybe even the goalkeeper, it's all settled. It's only a couple of places.
I still think you can improve it. I still think you still improve in defence. And talking of improvements, he was asked about Grealish and he gives the sort of answer you could fully expect. I just don't see Grealish coming to United now, although I do see him leaving Aston Villa. Here's the quote anyway.
Oh yeah, this quote. Do you want to go with this? Or do you want...
All right, I don't know too much about other teams' players, but of course he's a player we know we have to look for. The goal he scored last season was a brilliant goal, and we've faced him enough times to know it's going to be a difficult game.
Oh, that goal! I was there. I remember I was there. I sat with my mate at the halfway line, and I just looked over and I went, "Oh right, we're pushing him out wide. That's good." Like he just watched the cross into. Oh, it's gone top corner. Oh, okay. That's. I
remember I was pretty just silent watching it, going, "Oh fuck."
Yeah, my mate went just went. That's a good goal. I can't even argue with that because it literally was one of those ones where they did everything right except for they just gave him a slight too much space at the end, and he went, "Nah, I'm just gonna put this top corner," and it was a really good goal. But I do see there is a way in for Grealish. I feel like United are kind of thinking about it. The more I'm seeing Rashford getting played on the right and kind of grow on the right. The more I'm seeing, well, is there a space there for Grealish to come in and play on the left? Or I don't
think he plays on the left though. I think he's got to be a number 10. I don't know how he gets in United with Bruno unless they want to move Bruno around. I can't imagine
he's one of those. I feel like when we've seen it before, we have attacking sided like
Fernandes. Try before we buy, like a 2-game discount. Yeah.
28 days free.
I wonder how much that happens where people go on a trial game behind closed doors. Because I know that the different teams at United play all the time at different, like behind closed. You wouldn't even call it behind closed doors. It's just a training game, really.
So basically, what we're saying is the Premier League needs to bring in like a Netflix 1 month free subscription service.
Can we just have a trial?
Yeah.
And can Bruno play in the 8 and him in the 9? Or can we play like a pair? Can we just reinvent the wheel and have a pair of 10s?
I feel like he wouldn't be too bad on the left.
Dueling 10s, Casey. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, just take all width out the equation. Just throw creativity.
But they both move wide.
Exactly. Like I feel like when we've looked at it before, we've had 10s in terms of Mata, Lingard, Fernandes, who are naturally more right-sided. So I feel like if Grealish was like, oh, you are playing on the left-hand side, but you can drift in and do all that sort of thing. Because I do think he just naturally just drift out to the left when he plays for Aston Villa. I feel like he could fit into that side, and I feel that's what we're seeing more with Rashford playing on the right. We're like, well, if we can play Rashford on the right, is there a better left-wing option than going out and getting whole ransom for Sancho?
I think he's only playing there to try and accommodate as many players as we've currently got at the moment. I think longer term he wants an obvious right winger. He wants a number 9 once Cavani moves on. But we will see. Righty then, we are back tomorrow for all the match day coverage as usual. Whatever you're doing tonight, I guess stay safe because you're not going out anywhere.
Stay safe with both Corona and fireworks.
Have a good night if you can. Let's say get the fuck out of here to 2020. And let's just hope next year's... Look, 2021 doesn't need to be the best year on record. I mean, it could be if 21 happens, but it doesn't even need to be the best year on record. It just needs to be like 20% better than that just shite was.
Slightly better.
And you can make it better for yourself because you could win a PlayStation 5. Now, what a better way to start a year that would be. And the only thing that you got to do to enter is you got to click the join button right next to the subscribe button below. And become a member of Stretford Paddock. And every day, we're doing the 12 days of Christmas. Every day we're announcing a winner. Every day there's a new prize. The prizes are getting absolutely sensational, including a PlayStation 5. So the last prize is a PlayStation 5. Join, become a member, support the channel, and you could win yourself a PlayStation 5. And then that's a better way to start another year, isn't it?
Either that or spend your time indoors. Just play
if you're going to be locked up, you might as well have a PlayStation 5. Know what I'm saying? Right, cheers for tuning in, everybody. Make sure to subscribe, check out the memberships, and just see what it's all about, even if you don't fancy joining right now and right today. And I will see you guys tomorrow. We'll be back again as United do take on Aston Villa and Jack Grealish. And hang on, before we go, what an absolute nod, wink, wink that would be if Jack Grealish was injured for tomorrow's game. Yeah. Oh, that would set everyone's alarm bells buzzing. Do you like when Wan-Bissaka was injured in the March before he signed for us in the summer?
Yeah.
Interesting. Right, I'm not saying it's
in
going to happen.
In that big 6-pointer, Aston Villa fans would lose it. They'd be like, what are we going to do?
If it was, I would be like, oh shit, something's going down. I don't think it will. I don't think we're signing him, but I think it would be a big whoa if we did. Righty, everybody. I'll see you in a bit. Bye-bye.